Your brother is dead. Your kingdom has fallen. You're chained, mocked, paraded through streets. What do? Most would scream, break, lose themselves in grief or vengeance. But not her. She walks with her head high, eyes forward. She speaks little, acts only when it matters. And when the time comes, she doesn't just survive, she rises. This isn't a story from ancient Rome. It's Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. Pop culture is filled with Stoics in disguise. Figures we admire not just for their strength, but for their calm under pressure, their clarity in chaos, their refusal to be controlled by emotion. This video goes beyond the cliché. No Batman, no Jedi Master. We're going deeper. You'll discover 5 powerful characters from modern stories who live by the core of Stoic philosophy, even if they've never read a single page of Marcus Aurelius. They show us how to endure betrayal, face death, lead with logic, and master pain. And the best part? Their lessons are not just cinematic. They are practical, applicable. You can use what they embody to build your own resilience, focus, and inner strength. This is about more than film. It's about identity, about living with purpose and power, no matter what the world throws at you. Let's begin with a warrior in a suit, a man who walks through fire with deadly focus. Let's begin with John Wick. John Wick doesn't yell, he doesn't monologue, he moves. His world collapses in an instant. The only connection to his late wife is destroyed. What follows is not revenge for revenge's sake. It's justice wrapped in discipline. Wick's journey is not emotional chaos. It's controlled fury. Every action is precise. Every moment calculated. He is not ruled by emotion. He is guided by it, but never enslaved. This is classic Stoicism in motion. Epictetus taught, we cannot choose our external circumstance, but we can always choose how we respond to them. John Wick lives this. He doesn't choose to be hunted, betrayed, and broken, but he chooses his response. Calm, clarity, and consequence. His suit is his armor. His silence, his shield. He doesn't seek pity. He accepts fate, amor fati, and moves forward, not because he wants to, but because it is necessary. From a psychological point of view, this is a masterclass in emotional regulation. In cognitive behavioral therapy, we learn that our interpretation, not the event, determines our emotional outcome. Wick reframes pain into purpose. He never asks, why me? He asks, what needs to be done? He lives in the present moment, just like Marcus Aurelius instructed. Confine yourself to the present. Even when surrounded by death, he never loses himself, because he knows who he is. He knows what he values. He doesn't react to the noise. He listens only to his inner code. And maybe that's why we admire him so deeply. Not for the body count, but for the composure. Ask yourself, when life hits you, do you explode or do you execute? Can you stay loyal to your principles even when you've lost everything? John Wick can, and that's why he's not just a killer. He's a Stoic, betrayed by family, hunted by enemy, haunted by war. Tommy Shelby is not a hero. He's not even trying to be one. He's a damaged man with a scarred past, carrying the weight of violence, guilt, and responsibility, and yet he endures, not because he feels nothing, but because he chooses what deserves to be felt. That's the essence of Stoicism. Seneca once wrote, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Tommy suffers plenty in reality, but what makes him dangerous, what makes him powerful, is his ability to keep his emotions under control in the moments that matter most. His enemies try to provoke him. Politicians lie to him. Even his own family threatens the empire he built from nothing. But Tommy doesn't explode. He doesn't beg. He listens. He calculates. He speaks slowly, like a man who knows that words are weapons. That is strategic Stoicism. He moves through life like a chess master, never rushing, always observing. As Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Tommy's estimate of pain is cold, not because he doesn't feel, but because he refuses to let pain own him. He builds an empire not out of greed, but because it gives him control, order, meaning. He doesn't worship comfort. He embraces hardship and turns it into strategy. From a psychological lens, this is executive function at its highest level. Tommy Shelby demonstrates advanced cognitive reframing. He absorbs pressure and redirects it. This is exactly what modern resilience research supports. The ability to pause, assess, and choose your response is a predictor of long-term success. And yet, there's something darker. Tommy is also a warning. He shows what happens when Stoic control turns into emotional suppression, when the armor becomes a prison, when silence becomes isolation. The lesson? Use Stoic discipline to command your actions, but don't cut off your humanity. Tommy walks a razor's edge. He survived. He wins, but the cost is heavy. So ask yourself, are you mastering your emotions, or are you burying? Are you building with purpose, or just running from your past? Tommy Shelby teaches us that you can suffer, be broken, and still lead, but only if you control the storm within. He doesn't just wear a flat cap. He wears the crown of a Stoic king forged in fire. Sansa Stark, the evolved Stoic. She was once a girl who believed in fairy tales, castles, honor, a gentle world. Then came betrayal, abuse, power games that shattered every illusion. Sansa Stark's transformation is not one of vengeance, it's one of awakening, a Stoic evolution from naive idealism to cold wisdom. At first, she's reactive, emotional, but as she's tested, she begins to see. She listens more, speaks less. Every humiliation becomes a lesson, every pain a teacher. This is the Stoic principle of discipline of ascent, the ability to pause, examine your thoughts, and decide what truly deserves your energy. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Sansa embodies this perfectly. She learns not to trust blindly, not to act impulsively. Her power comes from patience and precision. From a psychological standpoint, Sansa demonstrates post-traumatic growth, not just survival, but transformation through adversity. This aligns with Viktor Frankl's insight. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And change she does. By the final seasons, she is not driven by rage, but by reason. She plays the long game, understands leverage, commands respect. What makes her a Stoic isn't a lack of feeling. It's her command of it. She chooses when to feel, when to act, when to hold back. She is no longer She becomes the player. Ask yourself, are you letting your pain shape you or destroy you? Are you reacting or responding? Sansa Stark shows us the Stoic path is not emotionless. It's emotionally wide. She may have started as a princess, but she ended as a queen, a Stoic queen. Rorschach, the Stoic outcast. He walks through the filth of a decaying city, a mask of shifting ink covering his face. There's no smile, no fear, just a man at war with the world and at peace with himself. Rorschach, the anti-hero of Watchmen, doesn't follow trends. He doesn't crave followers. He doesn't adapt to a corrupt world. He confronts it, alone, if he has to. And that's precisely why he embodies a radical form of Stoicism. He believes in moral absolutes. In truth, no matter how ugly, he sees the world falling apart and refuses to participate in the decay. He doesn't seek revenge. He seeks order, even when no one else believes in. Never compromise, not even in the face of Armageddon. This isn't stubbornness. It's conviction. It's what the Stoics called living in accordance with nature, your own moral law. Epictetus wrote, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Rorschach knows exactly who he is. His past is full of trauma. Yes, but it forged clarity. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't perform. He walks into every confrontation with the same posture. Straight back, steady voice, eyes that see through lies. And this, too, is a Stoic virtue. Courage. Not the loud kind, but the silent kind. The kind that walks into danger without hesitation. The kind that says, I will not betray what I believe, even if it costs me everything. From a psychological point of view, Rorschach represents extreme authenticity. In a world of masks, both literal and metaphorical, he refuses to wear one that hides his truth. He shows what happens when a person rejects the social contract in favor of internal law. That's rare, that's dangerous, and that's why we can't look away. But there's also a deeper layer to his story. Rorschach shows us what happens when Stoic detachment becomes disconnection. His discipline becomes isolation, his silence a barrier. He refuses all softness, even from those who try to reach him. That's the shadow side of Stoicism. Yes, we must master our emotions, but we must not amputate our humanity. Rorschach is a warning. Inner strength without warmth becomes armor too heavy to carry. And yet, there's something admirable in his suffering. He bears it all without complaint. No self-pity, no escape. He walks through hell because someone must. He's not the Stoic we aspire to become, but the one we fear we might need to be. So ask yourself, what principles would you hold, even if no one else agreed? What mask are you wearing to be accepted by a broken world? Would you rather be comfortable or right? Rorschach is not here to be liked. He is here to remind you that your code means nothing if you won't stand by it alone. He doesn't seek applause. He doesn't beg for peace. He walks into fire and doesn't blink. That is Stoicism in its rawest, most untamed form. Max Rokitansky, the Stoic drifter. The desert stretches endlessly. Heat rises from the cracked earth. Machines roar in the distance. There's no law here, no order, just survival. And yet he walks, silent, hardened, watching. Max Rokitansky, better known as Mad Max, is a warrior of the wasteland, but beneath the chaos and dust, he is something rarer than a fighter. He is a Stoic, not because he speaks of virtue, but because he acts with it when it matters most. Max has lost everything: family, society, peace. He has seen civilization die, and still he doesn't descend into madness. He doesn't seek revenge for its own sake. He endured. He is a textbook case of apatheia, the Stoic concept of inner equanimity. The world outside may burn, but he guards the fire within. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Max embodies this at every turn. When others panic, he plans. When others beg, he listens. When chaos erupts, he acts. He doesn't fight for glory. He doesn't speak unless words serve a purpose. He is a man of action, shaped by silence. His code is simple: survive, but not at any cost. He still protects the innocent. He still defends the weak, even when no one would blame him for turning away. This is the Stoic principle of duty without reward. Seneca warned, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Max has faced it all, and he never lets it define him. Psychologically, he represents the post-collapse self, a man who has integrated trauma without becoming it. He has no home, no tribe, but he refuses to become the monster his world invites him to be. That is the essence of the Stoic warrior. He is tested, he is wounded, but he does not yield. He reminds us that strength isn't loud. Purpose doesn't need applause. Ask yourself, are you acting on impulse or on principle? When the world collapses around you, do you stay grounded, or do you vanish into fear? Max teaches that even in a world gone mad, you can remain calm. You can choose who you become, even if everything else is stripped away. You don't need permission to act with honor. You don't need certainty to move with purpose. You just need the will to walk forward, even when the road disappears. Max doesn't explain Stoicism. He lives it, one step, one choice, one dusty mile at a time. The Stoic code is alive. You've seen it in a hitman who mourns silently and moves with purpose, in a gangster who uses strategy, not emotion, to build an empire, in a princess who becomes a queen by mastering her pain, in an outcast who never bends his code even when the world calls him mad, and in a wanderer who finds strength not in control, but in surrender to the path ahead. John Wick, Tommy Shelby, Sansa Stark, Rorschach, Max Rokitansky. These aren't just characters, they're symbols of what we are capable of when we choose discipline over despair, clarity over chaos, virtue over comfort. The Stoics weren't just bearded men in togas writing scrolls under candlelight. They were warriors of the inner world, training the mind, shaping the soul, preparing for impact. And these modern figures, they're proof that the code still lives. But the real question is, do you live? When you're betrayed, can you remain composed? When chaos hits, can you act instead of react? When the noise is deafening, can you still hear your inner voice? That's the challenge. Stoicism isn't a trend. It's not a costume. It's a weapon, a compass, a shield, and it's waiting for you to pick it up. So here's what you do. Start watching your thoughts like a sentry. Stop chasing what you can't control. Build a code and live by it, especially when it's inconvenient. And ask yourself daily, what would the Stoic version of me do now? Leave a comment sharing which of these 5 figures spoke most to you, and why. Was it the ruthless calm of Wick, the calculated command of Shelby, the quiet evolution of Sansa? Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom hidden in the stories you already love. Because this isn't just about philosophy. This is about how to survive anything and become unbreakable. Apply these lessons and watch your life change.